continuare sul nostro.
A very high caliber, reach out and touch you kind of weapon. This sight, which is an EOTech, it's military specification, and it's called a red dot. Anything within about 100 or 200 yards, if you put the red dot on the person, make the shot.
John and I practice quite a bit up in the mountain. We take the guns up there and we can just practice how far we can shoot. Let's go kill some bad guys. All right.
Their first objective, in the event of an attack, is to make their way to high ground. Their goal is to find a concealed location with a clear view of the enemy, no more than 3 football fields away, from which John can take his shot. But first, they retrieve camouflage and other supplies from their hidden caches, which will help them survive in the hills for days, if necessary. As John gets into position, Kelly's job is to act as his spotter, locating the enemy and then relaying their position and distance to John.
Okay, scan the area for targets and let me know where they're at. Give me a range to target.
Range to target is 3 to 350 yards.
Non to so oggetti
Stand by, going hot. That would be where I would fire. Target down.
John and Kelly believe these training sessions will prepare them for the day they may have to defend their farm from invaders. But there's only one prep that they believe will get them through anything doomsday throws their way.
I think it starts with love. It's a love story. Whatever we do.
I would say our love is our ultimate security threat because without that, it would be so much more difficult. Even though we're prepping for doomsday, as long as we're together, it's all going to be fine. Wow. We got lots of stuff.
John and Kelly, the experts and practical preppers, have reviewed your preps. Your garden and orchard offer plenty of growing potential, and you have a large quantity of livestock, which can provide you with a renewable source of protein. However, the amount of food you currently have stored is dangerously low. You should stock up on at least a year's worth of non-perishable food.
There's no way in God's earth that we need to have a year's supply of food stocked up. That's a little overkill.
To determine how long you could initially survive a catastrophe, Practical Preppers has scored your preps in 5 categories of 20 points each. Food, 13 out of 20 points. Water, 13 out of 20 points. Shelter, 17 out of 20 points. Security, 12 out of 20 points. Your advanced solar power system and renewable sources of food and water gives you 16 X-Factor points. Overall, you get 71 out of 100 points. You have 13 months initial survival time.
That's good.
I can live with that.
Yeah, I can live with that.
And we're working on it all the time.
We're improving all the time.
Our score will come up. Well, howdy, preppers folks. Since you guys have been here, we've continued to work on our preps, food for the animals, completed our solar project, and we continue to train with our weapons.
We have a donkey now, and we had our water tested, and it's perfect.
In spite of the recent recession and European debt crisis, most economists believe a near-term depression is unlikely, and the odds of a global collapse that would result in a severe breakdown of society are remote. Welcome back to the Brian Brody Show. I'm Brian Brody. At least once a week, Brian Brody hosts a popular podcast where he turns stories to millions. What's the real truth? He draws upon experience as a military weapons specialist and former police investigator to share his view of the world with listeners. You look at everything going on in the news now, we've got some of people that are a little more homegrown that are creating terror. Would you know what a terrorist looked like if you saw him or her? Is it sunny and 80 degrees and they got a black trench coat on. Pretty good idea that you should pay attention to something like that. But Brian isn't broadcasting from a studio in New York, Los Angeles, or Chicago. He's broadcasting from everywhere because the Brian Brody Show is always on the road. Until next time, I'm Brian Brody. I'm preparing for any terrorist attack with the ultimate bug-out vehicle. As a mobile prepper, Brian, along with his dog Brash, spends 90% of his time on the road, perpetually bugging out. It's a survival technique he says was inspired by observing Mother Nature.
When winter comes, what do some birds do? They fly south. When a hurricane comes, what do the animals do? They move away from the shore. If you and I